I don't know what's going to happen. And I'm a little scared to find out. But are we ready to watch Haruka's new video? I didn't even know he was going to get a video since he's dead. All right, deep breaths. All right, we're going in, boys. Jesus Christ.
Haruka-kun. ムーさん。持ってきたご飯食べてないの?
Jesus, bro.
なんで? 死んじゃうよ、はるかくん。
Look at his spine. Oh my god.
はい。そのつもりです。
なんで?
看守さんに言ったんで、ムーさんを許さなかったらって。大丈夫ですからね、ムーさん。
God.
何か?
Like I said, I feel like from the thumbnail, this is just going to be camera footage of him starving himself to death. But now that I'm watching it, dude, this like, this sucks.
許してもらえますから。
そうなのかな?
はい。
はるかくんはこれでいいの?
はい。幸せです。ムーさんの
This is depressing.
ために何かができる。変わったんだ、僕は。
Oh my god, dude, I feel so bad for him. Oh, Haruka.
お母さん。
はるかくん、もう。はるかくん。ひどいよ、看守さん。どうなるか分かってたでしょ。
Jesus, man. Oh, hold on. Oh, wait, we get the actual story? Oh, shit. This is huge. I didn't know if we were actually going to get it. Okay. Born in 1997 in Nagaoka, Niigata, from an early age, Haruka Sakurai developed more slowly compared to his peers. His overprotective parents did not accept their child had developmental delays and did not provide him with an educational environment suited to his needs. The gap in developmental achievements between him and his peers kept widening, so much that when Haruka reached 15 years old, he could still not adequately read kanji. It was around that time his parents simply gave up and they shift from overprotectiveness to disinterest. From then forth, his parents acted as if Haruka did not exist. Haruka tried to regain his parents' attention by causing problems and disturbances, but his parents' attention was never directed at him again. Haruka starts to kill small animals in secret from around that time. He killed insects, he killed mice, he killed stray cats and dogs. He felt relieved that there was life in this world that was inferior to him. Haruka's actions soon escalate, and he starts to kill pet cats and dogs as well. The following day, as he witnessed the tormented screams of the people who had suddenly lost a life they so cherished, he had a deep emotional reaction where he feels for the very first time that he is indeed connected to the world. The neighborhood increased its security soon afterward, and Haruka's unsophisticated crimes soon came to light. The police detained and questioned him harshly. Haruka experiences a heightened sense of excitement with all of this interest and attention directed at himself. When he saw the faces of his parents who were called in for him and him alone, that heightened excitement reached a fever pitch and he fainted. The day he was released, Haruka committed murder. The victim was a small child, clearly much less powerful than himself. It was the day of the fireworks festival. He targeted a child who had strayed from her parents. Haruka weeps as he clumsily hides the body. This child's life was probably much more valuable than my own. A future much brighter than mine was probably awaiting this child. Why did I end up like this? Haruka cried night after that and repented. He thinks about the future of the child he murdered and claws at his chest. When he came to, he was strangling the neck of a second child? Holy shit. Save data as Adana the following day to Milgram. Holy shit. Okay, so we were right. He did kill a child. It wasn't his brother. It was a random child. He actually killed 2 children. This part right here, this next page. So this is what I said in the first video where it cryptically shows him like killing the dog. I said, since he has like developmental issues, what probably happened was the police were called and the police let it go on the fact of like, he's on the spectrum. He's not mentally like all there. And they let it go. And from there, he saw the attention and it escalated into murder, which turns out to be spot on what it was. I called that from like day one. I said he probably escalated after dealing with the cops. And because the cops probably just wrote it off as him, you know, being, they said developmentally challenged. They didn't say what exactly it was, but that's pretty much spot on what I called. All right, so chat, now that we know his crimes, let's rewatch his first 2 videos and we can like probably pinpoint all the stuff they're talking about. Dude, watching him starve himself to death was so, oh my, look at him. Jesus, dude. Oh, this is crazy. Dude, Milgram is fucking insane. I hope they give us like a point blank case for every prisoner like this. So we already knew about the, you know, why are you drifting away from me? Why do you say it's my fault? We already knew it was an issue with his parents neglecting him because of a developmental disorder. That was really easy to put together. All right, so here, this is gonna, it's crazy. Now that we know the full story, this is the fireworks festival, and I'm assuming this is a girl he found that like was separated from her family and he murdered. Oh my God, bro. The whole time I felt bad for him, but dude, he was like, it's not his fault though, right? His parents, it's like that thing, right? Like if a kid like is killing animals, right? It's like future serial killer behavior type shit, right? You can't just like write that shit off, man. So this is a part like where we see him kill the dog. This is the part where we see him kill the dog. And this is a part where I came up with the theory that the cops probably checked it out chalked it up to him being on the spectrum, and were like, you know, just don't let it happen again or whatever, you know, basically let him go without really like worrying about it. They probably told the parents to keep a closer eye on him, which I'm assuming they didn't, considering after killing multiple animals, he killed 2 children. God. So So a big thing that people talked about was right there. They were like, if he actually killed a kid, or if it was like a metaphor of him killing his younger self. And now we know he did. He strangled a child to death after he murdered the little girl. Which is kind of insane. So yeah, this is the second kid he killed that he like blacked out and choked to death. And this is him realizing what he's done. All right, so then here is his second video. So one thing I will say is originally with the taxidermy, I didn't realize if this was like his family was into taxidermy or not. But once we got into like the animal taxidermy, I had a feeling some of it was animals he killed. But now that we know the full backstory, all of this is stuff he's killed. Because it said he started off with like insects and rats, moved his way to stray cats and dogs, and then started killing people's pets. And then once he saw like the loss in their eyes from their pet animal being killed, like he escalated from there. That's the right way to say it. Yeah. So those are all the cats and dogs he's killing. Also, like right there, I will keep on killing to be a good boy. That was another thing that made me think. I don't know. I guess when I saw the bugs, I didn't really think about it, but I guess he started at bugs and worked his way up. But like the animals, like definitely the cats and dogs, I was like, especially since in the first video we had him like straight up killing that dog. Like I did have a feeling he was killing animals. And again, like I called the whole cop thing. I said he's probably killing animals. The cops got involved. They let him go because, you know, he was special needs. And then from there, it escalated. Also, this right here, I'm assuming this is supposed to represent like the police interrogation room. Because the police did take him in and his parents had to come get him. So I believe this is supposed to represent like the police interrogation room, and these are kind of like his crimes that we've seen around him. Yeah, we look right here, you can see like a rat right here among like the insects and stuff. Also, us voting him innocent round one, that's so fucky now. Right, like this line right here when he says, I wasn't wrong, becomes very, very weird because he was very much wrong. But we voted him innocent because everyone felt bad for him, which I guess we'll talk about that in a second, but... Yeah, okay, so at the end, that was him choking the second child to death. So my question for you, chat, is who's at fault here? Right, so we're looking at Haruka. Clearly had a... Let's go back to see what exactly it said. I want to go back and see society. I mean, like, kinda actually, yeah. All right, so let's reread this part. His overprotective parents did not accept that their child had developmental delays, did not provide him with an educational environment suited to his needs. And then it got so bad they simply gave up and went from overprotectiveness to disinterest. So, looking at this, let's look at the base problem, right? He did not get the education or the help he needed, right? They basically ignored it and said, you know, I guess they ignored it. They basically wanted to be ignorant towards it, right? They ignored it and were like, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. And then it got so bad that they just started ignoring him. So you have a child with, you know, special needs, developmental needs that have not only been ignored, but now have escalated to the point where his parents are ignoring and disowning him, causing him to lash out. And I don't know. I guess my question is for y'all, do you think he's guilty or are the parents guilty? You know what I mean? This video is going to be going up on YouTube also. So if you're watching this on YouTube, let me know in the comments as well what you think about him and you think who the guilty party is. I think it's very hard to... You can't... Okay, it's not even very hard. You cannot fully pin this on him. You know, he was not given the help that he needed. And then when he got really bad, he was just completely neglected. He snapped and started killing for attention. And then the attention he got from it, you know, led him to kill more for more attention. I think the worst part is like his parents knew he wasn't okay, and yet they weren't keeping an eye on him. They weren't keeping track of him. They weren't, you know, they weren't monitoring him. I mean, he was killing small animals. You know, maybe you don't catch him killing an insect. Maybe he gets away with a rat. Maybe he gets away with a stray animal or two, but he starts killing neighbors' animals. You know, like when is he doing this? Is he going out at night? Is he doing it on his way home from school? I mean, at what point does he have enough freedom from their eyes? Because I guess they were overprotective at the beginning. Then they just neglected him. But like, they went from that to just like neglecting him, just not paying attention, letting him do whatever. They just didn't care. That was the problem. They stopped caring. And like I said in my first guess was the cops got involved. They let him go because clearly he was mentally not well. But I mean, it's just going to escalate from there, right? You know, he killed people's pets. You know, wait, where's it go from there? He's not going to stop. It's negligent. I think. Okay. Here's the big thing. I don't know how things work in Japan. I don't know if there's like child protective services or anything like that. But I think releasing the child back into the custody of the parents who have neglected him, not paid attention to him, and allowed him to get away with these killings because they're not paying attention to their son who is, you know, mentally delayed, is negligent on the cops' part also. And again, I don't know how they do things over there. I don't know how serious they take it. I don't know if separating a parent from a child is a thing that they do lightly. But you know, there should have been at least like welfare checks or something after the fact. I'm sure just talking to him, the cops had to have been able to tell he wasn't, you know, fully developed mentally. So it's just like, is this negligence on the parents' part? You know, well, okay, it is negligence on the parents' part. You know, do we also put some of the negligence on the cops for just releasing him back into this situation where clearly nothing is being done to like, nothing's being done to alleviate the situation, right? Like the situation isn't being handled and they just released him back. Partners can go to jail for child truancy. Lock them up. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's very frustrating because I know a lot of people are going to read this. I already saw one YouTube comment on one of my videos about how parents can go to jail for yeah. I had a feeling you meant parents, not partners. I already saw one comment where they're talking about like, you know, I don't feel bad for Haruka finding out he was murdering people's pets and stray animals and he killed 2 children. And I'm like, yeah, like I don't know. You can't put this all on Haruka. Like, I'm just gonna say that point blank. I don't care what your views are on him, guilty, innocent, can be forgiven, can't be forgiven. This cannot be all put on Haruka. There were multiple parties involved in this that could have taken steps to stop it. You cannot pin this full thing on a mentally underdeveloped child who is being neglected by his parents, who the cops did not step in to do anything. Let me see. Let's go back to the... Neighborhood increased security. His crimes had police detained and questioned him. He experienced a sense of excitement when he saw his parents who called in for him and him alone. The day he was released, he committed murder. I mean, just, you know, he got released that day, right? That day. And he had so little supervision on the day he was released that he was able to go out and commit murder. That's how little his parents like cared for him, right? That's how much they neglected him. The day he was released from custody, I'm assuming not jail. I don't know if he went in and out the same day, if he just went in for questionings, came out. Either way, the day he was released, he committed murder, right? So your child goes in for killing people's animals. He gets released. They let him go. And you pay so little attention to him that he is able to kill a child. And he didn't even get caught. He got away with it. You paid so little attention. He was able to kill a child, get away with it, and then kill another one. The day he was released, he stopped when he saw many people sad. So he said I believe that when he killed the animals, let me see, when he killed the pets, he starts to kill pet cats. The following, as he witnessed the tormented screams, who had suddenly lost a life they so cherished, he has a deep emotional reaction where he feels for the very first time he is indeed connected to the world. So when he was killing the animals, he felt connected, like, I guess in a weird way, but I believe they said he cried night after night after that and repented. He thinks about the future of the child he murdered and claws at his chest. Yeah, I mean, so he reached a point where, yeah, he felt remorse, but he literally blacked out and killed another kid. But to me, that just says that his emotional and mental state had reached a point so bad that he blacked out and murdered a second child, right? I mean, he needed to be taken away. He needed help. He needed proper care, proper attention. It's a hard one. I mean, I really love this project. I love what they've done with it. Nothing is black and white here. This is all shades of gray. It's easy to say he's guilty. Yeah, like on paper, he is guilty. He killed animals. He killed pets. He killed 2 children. Like, if we're asking, did he kill people? Is he guilty of that? Yes, he is. Can the full blame be put on him? I say no. No, his parents were negligent. The police were negligent. I'm sorry, dude. If it's weird because I have an IRL situation like this where the negligence of the police caused the loss of life to someone I know, right? So it's very like a little close to home with this, that they would bring him in, see what's going on, see, the parents clearly don't give a shit, and then just still release him to kill that same day. It's just crazy to me. It's crazy to me. No welfare checks, and no one was watching him. He just got out for doing this, and no one is watching him to the point where he can kill a child. So I don't think we can put it all on Haruka. I genuinely do feel bad for Haruka. Yeah, it's about forgive, don't forgive, not guilty or innocent. And it's so hard because it's like, okay, if he was still alive, would we vote to forgive him or no? And I'm going to tell you right now, most of the people reading this are just going to say no forgiveness, right? Look, he killed pets, he killed stray animals, he killed children. No forgiveness. I forgive him. So that leads me to my second thing. I too would like to forgive him, but I mean, what happens if you forgive him? He goes free. He's forgiven. The big thing they've harped about on this is that when you vote someone innocent, it reinforces their ideals. And I would like to believe his ideals are that he knows he was in the wrong, but clearly blacking out and killing a child, he's not okay. So we forgive him. And I don't know what happens at the end of Milgram, but let's say we forgive him and he gets released and he goes back home, right? What's going to change? What changes? Do his parents all of a sudden, now that he's been in a prison, pay attention? Do they care? Do they get him the help he needs? Or is he just released to kill again because he's going to be, rejected and neglected by society and his parents and his family? He's a murderer now. He's a 2-time murderer. I'm sure at this point people know of his crimes, of the kids. He can't go back to his hometown. No one there is going to want him. I don't know. I like this. Okay, this is gonna sound really fucked up, but like, I don't think he had any way out other than to die. I really don't. If he's innocent and he goes back home, he's just put back in the same environment which led him to kill in the first place. Not only that, his crimes are probably been exposed, so the whole town is gonna hate him. No one's gonna want him there. His parents already don't want him. What do you think they're gonna do when no one in the town wants him there? Kick him out? He's going to go live on the streets? Do you think putting a mentally ill man or a mentally ill child, he's not a man, this is like a child, teenager, putting a mentally ill teenager on the streets is going to lead to a good future for him? I mean, it's so fucked up, but genuinely, what future does he have in this situation? No one gave a shit about him. I mean, that's just where we are. Moo did. Moo is the only one, and that's why he cared so much for her, and that's why it led him to do this. But like, it sucks. What future did he have? What chance did he had? No chance. There's no chance of rehabilitation unless Milgram took him and put him in a facility where he could get the help he needed. If he just got voted forgiven and got sent back home, he should stay in an institution and be evaluated for rehabilitation. No, agreed, absolutely. But again, now we get to the point where if Milgram just sets him free back to his family, he's cooked. They don't give a shit about him. They're not going to put him in an institution. They're going to treat him like he's a demon. They're not going to want him there. If they didn't want him before, they're definitely not going to want him now. Now, if Milgram was to take care of him, if Milgram was to send him to an institution and get him, rehabilitated, evaluated, get him the help he needs, then he has a future. The problem is we don't know what we don't know what the end game of Milgram is. We don't know what happens to the forgiven people. If the forgiven people are just straight up released, at that point you are pretty much putting a mentally ill teenager who has committed murder onto the streets with no hope and no future. And it's fucked up, but that's just what it is. And I mean, that's something that happens, IRL all the time. A mentally ill person who's not right gets locked up for their crimes, ends up getting out, does not get the help they need, can't get the help they need. And then you just spiral from there. Very few people can pull themselves out of the hole by themselves. And especially like a mentally underdeveloped teenager is definitely not gonna be able to do that. So damn. It's a lot. I know I've been yapping a lot, but like I feel a lot about this. I didn't think I was gonna feel that much about it, but then the more like I started talking and thinking about it, the more I'm just like, damn. It's so fucked up, right? And like the most fucked up part is when he killed the child, his thoughts were this child's life was probably much more valuable than mine. A future much brighter than mine was probably awaiting the child. Why did I end up like this? His whole like remorse was he has such little self-value that he's just like, I killed someone, who had so much more potential than me. And like in my head, the way he probably views it is like, they're dead, I'm alive. Like I shouldn't be here. They should be here because I have no value. Damn. I don't know. I genuinely, depending on what the end game of Milgram is, I genuinely think him dying, like it's so fucked up to say that him dying may have been the best outcome for him, because if the end game of Milgram, if he got voted innocent, was to release him back home to his family, I mean that's a death sentence in its own. He's gonna end up on the streets, or someone in the town's gonna take it on themselves to kill him, or he's just not gonna make it. So just so much negligence. And it's so sad because like it's easy to like be like, okay, we're looking at Milgram, like, wow, this really sucks. But I mean, you have to think this is something that genuinely does happen, like in real life, right? I mean, there are kids and teenagers out there who do have, mental disabilities, mentally underdeveloped, that don't get the help they need, and they act out, and the family just ignores it until it escalates. And again, a lot of the times I believe this does happen. The cops get involved and it's kind of brushed off as, okay, it was an outburst. But I mean, it just escalates, dude, because they don't get the help they need. And I don't think I don't know. I want to say I don't think Haruka should be voted guilty because it falls on everyone. I don't think his ideals should be reinforced. I think he needs to know what he did is wrong, which it seems like he does know that. I don't know. Again, that's the biggest thing with Milgram, right? Is we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen with our votes. We don't know what the future holds. We don't, we didn't know they were actually going to kill people off. In the first round when we were voting, we didn't know our innocent guilty votes were going to lead to people almost being killed. We didn't know Kotoko was going to almost kill Mahiru. We didn't know any of that, right? There's just so much more consequences to our actions than they really let on when this whole program began. And so I think if he had been voted innocent all the way through and he had made it out of Milgram, let's say they give us a follow-up story and we find out Haruka went on a killing spree, right? Because he went home, his family didn't want him. We voted him innocent, he was released. His town didn't want him. He's on the streets, and now he's gone on a killing spree. He started kidnapping and killing people or something. You know, then what? Then we feel bad about our innocent vote, you know. His situation feels so damned if you do, damned if you don't. All thanks to his parents. You know, the cops too. But more so his parents. His parents are the root problems. The cops were just like a stepping stone along the way that they did nothing to stop it, right? It's like they put like a rock in front of an 18-wheeler as a speed bump. They did nothing to stop it. So it sucks. It really does suck he died. And watching him starve himself to death was crazy. But I don't know, man. Sometimes death is a kinder fate than what awaited him if he was released. It's fucked up, but I mean, that's how I see it, at least. Death may have been a kinder fate for him than whatever would have happened if, you know, he was voted innocent and released. That's crazy. Man. I really hope we get something like this for each one, because I want to know word for word what their crimes were. But yeah, also reading this and then going back and rewatching his old videos is crazy. Or not crazy, it's like it's cool, I guess. You could start correlating everything. Okay, this is relating to this is related to that. And I really like that. I like that the one thing I was worried about is that we would not get all the information on him, that it would just end, right? Since he's dead, he doesn't get a music video. I thought we wouldn't get his info. So I'm very happy that they did this. But like, I don't know, man. Just so like a lot of this feels very just like close to home and real. You know, these are real situations that happen and real issues people deal with. And it's sad to think about. You know, people aren't getting the help they need and they only get worse. So, R.I.P. to Haruka. I genuinely can't wait to read everyone's backstory and deep dive that and rewatch their videos.